I'm Kirsty, just been on a soft cuffs demonstration course. At first, not going to lie, a little bit apprehensive. I do know that obviously something that could potentially be classed as a restrictive intervention can be used in the least restrictive ways, but when you hear mechanical restraints, people often always think and fear the worst. But from what's gone on today, I think some of the equipment that we've been shown and been demonstrated on how we can use can actually really help benefit patients, can be a lot less intrusive, a lot less restrictive, and sort of be a bit more humane for people actually than having staff having to physically hold someone. Also, I think from a staffing point of view, a lot of that equipment could actually make things safer for staff, both physically and psychologically all round, really. I mean, what's your views?
Again, just to repeat what Kirsty said, the equipment itself is really beneficial to patients and to care. Making sure it is the least intrusive option, as opposed to having, up to 5 people holding somebody. You can apply some of this equipment and it really reduces that number, making sure someone is supporting, communicating, but those staff have got the opportunity to kind of step back and work with the minimum number of team to support the individual.
Right, feedback after having received the course with Dr. Milia on soft restraint and mechanical restraint. Found it quite useful in terms of talking about the least restrictive option, for example. No, there's a lot of contentious the word out there with regards to the use of mechanical restraint, but used in the right fit, for the right situation, the right circumstances, as they say, right patient, right care. It could be very safe, very useful for staff, and in actual fact, it may represent the least restrictive, least intrusive, the safer for all. What did you think about it, Ross?
Yeah, no, I absolutely think it's a useful alternative to have. We always speak about the foreseeable risks that are there within the environments that we work in, and we can identify, probably just on one hand, be able to count quite a few where you know that they're there, you know that they'll happen, and you know that we actually don't have options other than prolonged restraint or prolonged seclusion and those sorts of things. So if we've got an alternative like the kit, the soft cuffs from safe handling and the seals devices and all of that, it's certainly something that's worth looking into, because you can then give people the option of that if there is something that might not work with perhaps physical holds, that they then can use this, as much as there is that general, well, we don't want to be using mechanical restraint. Sometimes what seems to be restrictive is actually less restrictive, and from a service user point of view, or the individual point of view, they may prefer having soft cuffs on them rather than having physical restraints. And also we've identified that they're able to come out and do stuff, whereas it would be impossible to do that if we didn't have those. So yeah, found those to be very useful. Certainly wouldn't be something that we're saying, oh, here they are, everyone should use them, but it's a toolbox like everything else, and needs to be used as is appropriate.
Absolutely that. So heard it from Ross, and for us as a body or as an organisation, we certainly don't promote any use of restraint if it can be at all avoided. What we do say is, if you have to use restraint, you use the most effective, you use the least restrictive, and of course safer, both for the person that is being restrained and the people carrying out the restraint, for example. So certainly, as we've heard from Rosalie, the use of soft cuff or any kind of mechanical restraint should not be the first line of action, and it should not be a blanket approach for everybody or for every organisation. But it certainly does have its place when it comes to the use of restrictive intervention and the use of safe restraint method, for example. Anything to add?
No, nothing at this point. I guess we now have something additional in our toolbox that we can go away and see where it is that it can be appropriately used. But yeah, as we've said, if it's not needed, don't use it.
Thank you very much. Catch you another time, Doc.